Secret of Mana, which means Sabo is playing the Sprite, and
we are off. We got a $5 in Link's house, so for Sabo and Khloe Prower, good luck to both of you, and may the random number gods be in your favor. And we're going to see a sync check on the Uncle escape, because I think we're assured a sword this time.
Yeah, the sword's a lock here. Might as well go get it and get yourself off to a good start. Nice tree pull there. Big 20s all around.
Right. And that's important with retro mode, which once we get to a point, we'll take a moment and explain retro for those that may not know exactly how this mode works. But there's our assured sword.
So would you try escape this early, or would you just go ahead and go to Kakariko and start with your trove of items?
I would. Since I'm already here, and, you know, for me personally, I know how to do the dark rooms, except the Aga ones. So, with having the sword, you could guide yourself to the dark cross room. I would be doing what Chloe's doing.
So we're going to get our first route divergence as Khloe does take on at least the front half of the escape sequence, while Sabo's going to work his way over to Kakariko and begin the process of item collecting.
Right. So let's take this moment to go ahead and discuss retro, because we've referenced it a couple of times. So in retro, the key thing to keep in mind is money management. Retro takes elements of Zelda 1 and puts them into Zelda 3. You spend money to fire arrows as opposed to having arrow items. Keys are also global. You have all small keys will work in any dungeon anywhere. Big keys still work for their respective dungeons and are in the respective dungeons. You can also buy keys for $100 at a shop. You have to buy an arrow item to be able to fire wooden arrows, which with hard mode we're not going to get silvers until the Ganon fight if we find them. So we got the mirror in the escape sequence. There's also 4 take any rooms. We got the mushroom in a French vanilla mushroom in the Lost Woods. There are 4 take any rooms that have either a potion or a heart container. Again, hard mode, you're going to want that heart container. And one that has a sword. That is logically set up. It is possible that take any sword is needed for Aga 1. Sorry, I know that was a mouthful, Hefe. Take it from here.
No, there's a lot to go over. Hopefully we'll, if Sabo actually not checking that fortune teller shop up there's a little surprising, considering, you know, you can find hearts, and you can find hearts and a sword in some of these one-off locations that don't get a lot of use otherwise. But Sabo going to work his way into the tavern, find 5 rupees, and Chloe's going to get 5 rupees out of the sanctuary and head to Kakariko.
Yep, and as Subby Pig is mentioning in chat, there is a bug right now where you don't actually have to buy the wooden arrow item, but you can, and you can still fire arrows. The one thing is you still have to buy it eventually to be able to switch to the silver arrows.
Right, I'm not sure if that has been patched out yet. I know they've been talking about that for a bit. And Chloe's gonna... Oh, hook shot. That's a good find. Chloe's gonna go ahead, it looks like, and check the lumberjack as well.
I have to say, I'm still coming down from the race last night I had between Mikon and oh, who was the other one? Man, I'm completely blanking on another name, where we had the hook shot in the last room, last chest before Trolldorm 2, so I'm kind of glad we don't have to search for that again.
Yeah, that was an all dungeons race, right? Where I remember watching that. Yeah, that was an all dungeons race, so you needed the hookshot for Swamp, but Swamp was abandoned, which pretty much meant good luck finding the hookshot, and it took.
And Zelda-san, our tracker, reminding me that it was Shady Force. But to get us back up to date, we found a Master Sword in the well, and then Khloe gave us a map check. We got Hera as a crystal, and Eastern and Desert as our non-green pendants.
And I don't think we had anything in the lumberjack tree, so that's not. Sab0 hadn't checked it yet, but it's something.
I believe it was
nobody
just.
will have to worry about.
I believe it was just bombs.
Sab0 finding the powder here at Blind's hut, and what else in the back? Just few more rupees. Although at 828, Sab0 is pretty loaded for bear.
Yeah, and interesting that sab0 decides to just have enough from there and not even go to check the library or the race game.
Yeah, we'll see if Sab0 missed out on anything, depending on whether Khloe goes around and makes those checks too. So, Khloe does seem to be a little more thorough here in the early going. And about to pick up their hook shot here. Out of the book, out of the dam by Sab0. So sword in hand, Sab0 is going to make their way, and hookshot in hand, they're going to make their way to Mini Moldorm Cave, take these out pretty easily, and hope to find some more supplies. Big 20, there's the fire rod, that's always a good find. 5 more rupees, heart piece, and 5 more rupees. So, but the fire rod's good, always a good thing to get, especially in hard mode, just because you know, every little bit helps against everything that you're going to be going up against.
Yeah, and Desert, we can actually get in there right now with the book. If we find the power gloves soon, Desert actually would be full clearable. It is a pendant dungeon, but you know, at this point, based on what the seed is giving us, we're just a lamp away from AGA 1, and I kind of would be hoping for that book to know that there's at least a few more items we can get. Because that's actually one of the things that we didn't talk about, is there actually is more potential for more items than just the standard amounts, because of the fact that the keys are global. They don't have to be in the dungeons.
Right, the item counts in Retro change, because the small keys join the, well, some of the small keys join the pool, because the small keys join the pool, and then some are in 10 are removed in normal difficulty, 15 are removed in hard. So, which I think leaves 13 small keys out in the world, and the rest are just replaced by junk. So so that's just one added layer to the money management.
Now, I don't know for certain. It certainly seems like Khloe has run Retro before, because in the time that Khloe is taking just to get out of Kakariko, Sab0's already on his way to Sahasrah's closet.
Yeah, Khloe's checking these not often seen entrances to try and find hearts, try and find the old man's sword. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see whether Khloe can get anything out of all of this.
I do have to say it's fascinating that of the retro seeds that I've called in this tournament, this is the first one where we have not found to take any room in Kakariko at all.
Yeah, I don't really think Sab0 looked, so it's kind of actually pretty fortunate for them that Khloe wasn't able to find anything. So Eastern, the only dungeon, I believe the only dungeon that does not have a small key in a chest is actually unchanged. It's still going to be 3 items map, compass, and big key.
That would be correct.
And chat's having a little discussion here about the math of, excuse me, about the math of how many keys. The reason it's 13 is because the small key in Skull Woods is still going to be in that one chest where you drop in to avoid annoyances.
Yeah, and
so it would be 29, but it would be 29 total. But that Skull Woods key stays.
Yep, that's the pinball room that we're talking about. So now Chloe's gonna get the fire rod here.
That's a very well-timed 8 bomb drop for Sabo there, and blue mail.
That's the first item we found. We did see the big key, so we will see an item in the big chest now. But logically, this will be it, because we don't have the lamp yet.
Yeah, so just one item in the front side, although Sabo's going to brave these dark rooms and try to make their way to at least a second item.
Yeah, most runners in this tournament have practiced the dark rooms, and even though the logic will want you to have the lamp in order to get whatever is in the dark rooms or beyond the dark rooms, these runners will most likely be able to take care of it no problem.
Chloe's still looking for the extra stuff that Retro's supposed to provide, and just has not found it yet.
Yeah.
I'm starting to wonder if, like, maybe it all ended up in Village of Outcast or
Death Mountain, maybe.
Sabo taking the intended way of taking care of that room, kill the enemies so the anti-fairies disperse, and getting a hard piece out of it.
And that also means that there is an item on the Armos Knights. It also means, I think we're gonna see Sabo do the escape. And right now, without the Power Glove, logically you can't get to the back of escape without either the Power Glove or the lamp.
Yeah, we are really, really low on options at 13 minutes.
It's basically
Zora and Nagita?
Well,
and
not
Desert?
even Zora.
Oh,
Desert
right, Zora's not in Logic yet. Holy cow.
Yep. You need either the Power Glove or the Flippers to get to Zora. So yeah, Desert and Nagina are basically what we've got left. And I would be really... I mean... The thing is, at this point, that's one item in Nagina. There's the 2 items in... There's actually 3 potential items in Desert. And actually, the one thing we keep forgetting about is, because of this being retro, Aga Tower could have an item. It's entirely possible that first chest in Aga Tower has a progression.
That would be quite a mean introduction to this mode. to know that's actually a viable chest because of the small keys being shuffled around. Sabo about to pick up their mirror here. They were Sabo obviously did the dark room Eastern, so they're probably gonna try the dark room here in the castle as well.
It's possible. I would expect it. The thing is that it's also a little easier because you have the fire rod and the hook shot. So you could actually, there's some magic decanters in that first room of escape that if you found, you could get some magic. But apparently Sabo's not going to do that.
Yeah, very easily could have mirrored out to do that, but looks like they're going to take that book and see if Southwest Hyrule's going to have any progression for her.
Mm-hmm. And chat talking about buying keys. See, here's the thing you have to keep in mind. The randomizer assumes that you can farm rupees. That if you need to, you could farm all the money that you would need. Well, since you're able to buy keys in this game, guess what that means? You can farm keys, and the logic assumes it.
Yep. One of the little catchphrases I like to use around Rando in general is that you are responsible for your own consumables, which includes magic, bombs, and in this mode includes keys. So it's kind of up to you to make sure that you can do anything that you set out to do whenever you go do it. And there's the flute, and that's going to open Death Mountain. There's our progression.
And that opens a ton. Because that gets us to Hera, that gets us to Paradox Cave, like, that is huge.
Yeah, and Hera, well, assuming the big key's not downstairs, Hera should be beatable. There are obviously tons of shops and caves and whatever up there that could have our third sword. So there's Death Mountain's the perfect thing to find right now.
Sabo's gonna activate the flute, and looks like Khloe is gonna check this room here. And we finally found a take any room.
So one of the things about hard mode in general is that the hearts max out at 14 because 5 full hearts and 4 heart pieces are removed from the pool. But the take any hearts do not count in that calculation. So you can get yourself up to 16, 17 hearts if it just so ends up that way. So retro heart, at least in that regard, is a little less punishing than other hard modes.
Can you take goo without a potion? No.
Question in chat, is it not hard capped? It shouldn't be hard capped because the cap is only set by the items in the pool. It's not, I mean, except for the hard cap of 20. So, but no, I've seen a couple of rando races where they can get to 16, 17.
So Khloe is going to go ahead and go into desert. Sabo is getting Old Man Home, which is out of logic without the lamp, but $50, no problem there. So, we have a guide for us commentators for all these different modes that we're having to handle in the tournament, and based on that guide that we have, it says these heart containers do not change the hearts available in the main pool, but you can never exceed 20 hearts regardless.
So that should cover us then. Khloe was able to find the big key in the first chest of desert, so and is going to go ahead and use a small key to go take care of the 2 right side chests, and we're going to get a look at what's on the tour.
We also got a Dark World map check from Sabo. Mire is the green pendant. Thieves Town and Swamp are the 5-6 crystals. Some caches in the sewers. So actually, we don't need to worry about the Dark Cross room.
Is that solely the dark chest?
I believe so. I could be mistaken.
So the big chest of the desert has 20 rupees, and Chloe's going to make their way to activate the flute and head on up Death Mountain themselves.
So Sabo is going to make his way up. Didn't check the second chest, but I imagine after killing Trolldorm, he may go back for it. But in any case, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, it's Honor Hyrule. Please join us for the playing of the National Swag Deck Anthem. And with that, the goose is loose, and the dove is above.
So Sabo picked up a Pyramid Fairy hint at the top of Hera. Cash and cash at the big red bomb. I mean, this is retro. That might not be the world's worst hint, but at least progression-wise, speaking of progression, at least progression-wise, Pyramid Fairy is not the answer.
We did
Flippers,
get the
on the other hand.
Yeah, we got those in Hera. And Moon Pearl with the mushroom.
Oh, there's a surprise. Moon Pearl and Hera. So that, or not Moon Pearl, Moon Pearl and mushroom. So the mountain might not have anything. Well, for the mountain not to have anything, it would need to have the lamp and then fire agate. But other than that, that's going to take Sabo a while to get to as they continue to work out the rest of the mountain.
It wouldn't be that hard. I mean, it just depends on... It really just depends on what other progression we find. Because it wouldn't be that hard if you did the Zora checks, and then instead of immediately saving and quitting after the Zora area, you just walk down to the witch's hut. I think Sabo may have counted his items because he thinks he doesn't need to check the 2 chests he skipped.
Yeah, it's one thing to skip the basement, but to skip the second chest downstairs is or just on the first floor is yeah, that must have been good item counting on their part.
Alright, but we got 7 items total here in Paradox Cave. Power Glove in the bottom. So now that puts Lambo in logic. Also, Back of Escape is in logic now. Empty
First
bottle.
bottle Z. That's a good sign.
So that's Sick Kid. And the hammer.
All right, our Dark World access is here. Once Sabo turns the mushroom in. First chest downstairs for Chloe is the compass, so it looks like Sabo might have been right, and the basement is going to have the map. Assistance from chat, thank you for digging that up for us. The sewers hint does refer to not only the dark chest, but the 3 chests in the back.
Okay.
that you fall into. So it's, you know, I mean, it's still a hint, but it doesn't take the dark sewers out of progression.
And one thing we also have to consider is that even though we don't need Aga 1 for Dark World access, because this is retro, the 2 chests in Aga 1 could still have progression even though we don't need it. And right now we can get to one of them because we have the Master Sword. We would need the lamp for the other. In fact, it would be kind of smart when you go check Pyramid Ledge, if you just walk up, mirror at the top of the pyramid, and then just go check that real quick.
Right, because the first chest of Bag of Tower is literally the second room in, so it's actually a very fast check, taking it from the pyramid. Sabo looks like they're gonna turn in this bottle before head to Dark World, and gonna find 5 more rooms.
I'd also probably check Magic Bat while you're here. Although you do have the mirror, so you actually could... It would be more efficient to route it with the Smith Chain.
Right, it would. Although Sabo doesn't have access to the Smith Chain yet because we're still missing the Titan Smiths.
This is true. I guess what I'm saying is that it makes sense that you could wait on it, and until you absolutely had to, or you have the Titan Smiths.
Yeah, absolutely. Did we get a look at the hint up here that Chloe's gonna get?
I don't think so.
That's another big bomb hint. Wait a... Thanks,
Yeah,
game.
that can happen. I've seen it before.
Alright, so now we know some cash, and some cash require the big red bomb. Great, thanks.
Sabo gonna make his way into Thieves Town. Of course, NS Nick in chat says that those hints must refer to a pyramid scheme.
Well played, sir. Very nice. So Chloe's close to picking up their glove and hammer soon. 28-minute Dark World access is pretty... It's a little on the late side, but I don't think it's anything either one should be worried about. We're going to take a look at the shop here on Paradox and find the key and arrow shop, finally.
Chloe's also going to pick up the wooden arrows. Now, again, in Retro, keys are global. You need... any small key will work in any dungeon. Because you can spend money to buy them, that means you can also farm them. You spend money to use arrows. You buy that wooden arrow item to be able to fire wooden arrows. The silver arrows are still in the item pool. There are also take any rooms, 4 which gets you a heart container or a blue potion. 1 has a sword.
Yep. Chloe did run into one minor issue in that in order to reset the shop, you have to leave not only this particular Paradox shop, you not only have to leave the room, you have to leave the cave. Although maybe falling down this pit will reset it. It does. Okay, so it wasn't as bad as I thought. So not the most efficient farm, but Chloe was able to get 2 chests out of the deal, and I think it's going to keep doing this for a little bit. Ah, no, here's the bomb jump to get across and up the spiral.
Yep, just trying to save time routing to Spiral Cave.
And just to clarify in chat, no, that is not the only one. There should be, I want to say 2 or 3 others. But that's just the only one we found so far, which is interesting. The Hidden Thieves Town, Sabo's already passed it, but the Hidden Thieves Town was a green hint, it was junk. So there's nothing to worry about there as they make their way downstairs towards the maiden. We'll see if Sabo feels like burning one of those keys on the Thieves Town big chest. As Khloe's going to start their Dark World rounding down at Hype Cave.
Maiden saw having bombos. And there's Khloe getting that map check.
So Sabo's going to spend $100 on the big chest has their $100 back. Hey, congratulations.
Alright, we got a shovel in Hype Cave. We got piece of heart, 50 bucks, and a heart container. Very disappointing.
So one of the little neat little routing tricks here in Retro, you have the small key, and this isn't even a routing trick. This is just a straight route. They're going to go ahead and looks like they're going to full clear Swamp Palace.
Swamp is in logic. This is a very interesting play. Usually runners try to avoid Swamp Palace like it's the plague, but
because of that, it is a bit of a different play. I mean, there's, it's something a little offbeat, something you don't expect your opponent to do. So maybe Khloe can get something good out of it. Mitts and Swamp is it can be popular sometimes, and there's 300 rupees. That makes the trip worth it already, to be honest. And the bow! Oh, now, right. Okay. Yeah, this was a very, very good play then. We don't have full access to Pod yet just because of needing the lamp at the backside, but that's a really important find.
Yeah. One thing, so I was away for a moment because I was going to check the database of all the matches that we've run at this point, because it's very interesting watching the difference between both the way Sabo and Khloe are running this. Because Khloe is paying attention to the specifics in Retro about the take any rooms, about having to buy keys, about all of that, about everything involved in Retro. Sabo hasn't. He's playing it like it's a normal, like a non-Retro seed. And checking the database, he, at least in the tournament, this is his first Retro seed. I don't know if he's practiced Retro, but, what we were talking about with not having enough keys in the item pool, like, this is the thing that's going to be very interesting to watch is, does Sabo end up getting to a point where he runs out of keys and doesn't know where to get them?
Right, because Khloe has done the overworld work, and only found the one key shop in Paradox Cave. So if Sabo does run into that issue, where what are they going to do when it happens? Like Pod is an absolute drain on your keys, for example. So we do have some of the more experienced retro players or rando players in chat who are pretty much discounting all the extra little bits of this, like the Take Any Caves, and they don't think it's worth the time to research that. So, which is interesting, you know, because I don't know, I'm a fan of information. Any and all information you can get is good. So, but it's information versus time in a game in a game like this.
Yeah, our tracker Zelda Dazan is also pointing out that he actually has played a retro C with Sabo, so that would explain the gap in my logic, or where I was thinking.
And just to clarify, retro, unlike inverted, is not a new mode. It's been around probably 7-8 months, back with the V29 update. But it never really got. It never got a big tournament, never got a big push. So a lot of runners probably came into this tournament not really knowing too much about it.
Sabo is going to join Khloe in Swamp Palace.
Yep. Perfectly acceptable call here. It's a crystal dungeon they can full clear. No reason not. Not quite on those fire rod shots. Let's see. Gonna get 3 of them on that round and spin for the victory. And crystal number 2.
And just a piece of heart. And Khloe is going back in.
Right, we're gonna wait on a menu check here to see what Khloe is missing so far out of the dungeon. I want to say they have at least the big key. So we'll see how many items Khloe's going to come back for. And the left side swamp, this is a retro trick. The left side swamp is a little easier because you can not worry about, essentially not worry about drowning the key because you have one in your pocket. So you just go in here, do the thing, and you don't have to worry about that key under the pot right there. So that alone saves 20-30 seconds on what the normal left side swamp route would be. The map check on Khloe's side also revealed that they don't have the big key yet, but they do have the map and compass, so this is a two-item left side here. Although maybe the big key could lock itself. But it is still 2 items. We're going to see if they're important, and then see where our runners go next.
So I looked away for a minute. Was the big key on the left side?
Yeah, it was. So they're gonna have to go back to the big chest to
get
the last eye. Yeah, they gotta go back to the big chest to get the last eye. Other than the bow, we haven't seen anything really here, so we'll see what the last chest holds. Another smoke.
What's interesting right now is Other than Pod, we really can't go anywhere else. But Eastern is full clearable. Desert is full clearable. Although you would need the lamp. Meyer also needs the lamp and the Cane of Samaria and the Titan's Mitts. So those three you would need to find, but... Oh, you would also need its medallion. So basically, Turtle Rock Medallion and Ice Rod. That's pretty much it for Go in terms of pedestal.
Right, having Meyer in that mix eliminates a lot of pedestal possibilities. So Khloe looks like they're going to try the back. Are they going to try the backup escape first, and then make their way to the Village of Outcast to do Skullwood's Thieves' Town?
So, Swagnet and a Fisher Price My First Shield. Nothing much in the back.
And the sewers hit was useful because none of those 3 chests were cash. So we can skip the dark chest and down. So we're 42 minutes into a very important match here in Group F. sab0tender, Khloe, Prower. Go ahead and follow these 2 runners to show their support, for the entertainment that they're providing us. Look, we're going to put those links in chat.
Absolutely. And to Hefe's point about how important this race is, Group F, Jet 82 has basically sealed the first seed of the bracket stage from their group. But we have a potential not a four-way tie based on the races, but Mentos Man 8 is currently finished at 7 and 8. I believe JP and Sabo both have 6 wins, and Khloe has 4. Khloe has 2 races between JP and Sabo, and then JP and Sabo race each other. It is possible if JP or Sabo sweep their 2 races, they get the 2nd slot. But if Khloe manages to play spoiler, it is possible we could have a 3-way tie in Group F for the 2nd slot. Hydropower asking, can a 4-way tie still happen? No. Based on the fact of what 3 races are left. Oh, apparently I had my tab turned away and I missed the pedestal check, so apologies for not hyping it. What was it not today?
It was not of use. Just not much. I want to say it was just a hard piece. Or just cash.
And Drosy also pointing out that if Khloe loses, it is still possible that there's a 3-way tie between Mentos, JP, and Sabo. Basically, what we'll do is once this race concludes, we'll give you an update on how that plays out.
So the first of, I believe it's going to be 5 items here in Skullwoods because of the small keys. First of 5 items is going to be a heart piece after finding the map and big key early. And looks like Khloe's going to steal this key, the guaranteed one, and near back out.
That's very good knowledge of how retro works.
This is a very interesting play here. Sabo's going east. Let's see. I think he's going to finally start looking at some shots.
None of the Zora checks have been done. Hello Potato asking.
Right. Money is so valuable in a retro seed that Zora himself is a large investment. And a lot of play, you kind of have to either put that off as long as you can or set that up for a hard reset. And there are the Titans bits in the center chest in Skull Woods.
All right.
sab0tender going to find the cape here on the pyramid ledge. So we're going to get, let's see, we're going to get more information here as Khloe goes to the back to get the compass and a last item here in Skull, and one of the crystals. And Savo's doing a neat little bit of routing here. I'm going to check the hobo from the Dark World using that one little mirror spot. That's very smooth on there.
Chloe's in a little bit of a predicament that no magic for Mothula, but with Master Sword and Hammer, it can be done.
Yep, 7 hearts or 6.5 hearts blue mail is not the worst loadout you can have. So just a matter of being patient, letting, and just taking the swings as you can. Savo's gonna make the dip in the pod.
Yeah. And there goes Mothula. Ooh, silver arrows in pod.
Yeah. So that's good news for Khloe. Chloe can't miss those. Being down there in the first chest.
And one thing you learn from running Key Sanity is that what Sabo is doing right now is the most efficient way to save your keys. If you have the bow and the hammer as they do, you can avoid using a key on the front door. And then if you know how to hammer yump, you can also skip a key in the dark maze. So right now, with the 3 keys that Sabo has, Sabo can clear everything but and either have to choose between killing Helmassar, the vanilla big key chest, and the harmless Hellway. If we manage to find a 4th key, then we can full clear pod. And there's that key, so now pod is full clearable with the 4 keys Sabo has.
There you go. Good use of the commentator's blessing. So yeah, Sabo is set here in pod, which is good news. Still hasn't found a key shop yet, so they will leave here. They will leave here with probably 1, I'm just assuming they find another one in here. But so there is still a little bit of work to be done. But if they can navigate Dark Turtles, they should be just fine here in pod.
Chat's going nuts about the lamp.
I want to say bumper ledge, which means Sabo's cape is going to lead. Sabo got the cape at the pyramid ledge, so that's what it's unlocked.
Max Plus Pi asking, did Sabo check first chest Aga with the pyramid? Nope. No one has gone into Aga Tower. With Retro, there are 2 items that can be in there.
Sabo's gonna burn. So you know what we said about that key? Sabo didn't hammer jump and is gonna burn one here in the dark maze.
Interesting. Alright, so Khloe is going to make their initial run into Thieves Town. And now Sabo also burns a key on the front door. As chat pointing out, we've only seen one of the Take Any rooms, and it was in the cave near Gary, right before Desert.
Yeah, one Take Any. We haven't found the Take Any with the sword, and we've only found one key and arrow shop so far. And Sabo is gonna go ahead and leave.
I think he's realizing his mistake, possibly. Alright, so he's now going to check back of escape.
Yeah, gonna pick up their key and all. Or their shield, and that was pretty much it back here, I think.
As we were mentioning earlier, again, this is a very critical race for Group F in terms of who's going to get the second spot into the bracket stages. So if you are entertained by this race as much as we are, please be sure to give sab0tender and Khloe Prower follows on Twitch. So where are you going next, Sabo?
Looks like finish off Skull Woods. Oh, well, not even finished, didn't even start it. So Sabo's gonna get their mitts and probably work their way to Dark Death Mountain afterwards, which is probably Khloe's destination too after they finish Thieves.
Dark Death Mountain makes sense. Ice Palace also would be a little appetizing because you've got the means to full clear it. If you can route it right, you don't have to spend any small keys. And with the 2 keys in the item pool, that would give you a possibility of 5 items in there. I could certainly see Ice Palace.
And honestly, the runners are so flush for cash right now, combining for like 3,100 rupees, that I think they could use the one small door to get across on B3 to make their Ice Palace route as simple as you could. So I don't think they're gonna need to use all those bob jumps to preserve and do all that kind of fanciness.
This is true. The one thing, I mean, and, you know, to your point about maybe going back up to Death Mountain, granted, Khloe's the only one that knows that the shop in Paradox Cave is where you can buy keys right now. But that could also lend to your suggestion of heading up to Death Mountain, because both of them are running a little short on keys. You would certainly want to pick some up before you start getting into some of the dungeons like Pod or Turtle Rock, where you're absolutely going to need them, or Ice Palace, where it would certainly help with the routing.
That's a pretty good blind kill right there by Khloe, and that's going to bring it up to 4 crystals.
And Sabo is now about to get his Titansmiths. It's kind of interesting, because so far we really haven't gotten to a point where we've really been, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, held back by the seed, where we're kind of being led in one place. It's been very open. There's been a lot of... There's never been a point where you're basically down to a few options.
No, there hasn't. We got to... I think really the only spot was super early where the flute was at Agita, but after that it's been an open seed. Everybody's been able to kind of take the routes they want to take, and it looks like Khloe's routing has put them at a slight advantage, at least for now, especially because when they get to Pod, if they're smart with their keys or they have enough, they're not going to need to double dip it. So. Sabo tried the coin flip and lost, with Compass being down there. So that's another little time lost that Khloe did not take.
And on Khloe's end of the screen, even though Khloe didn't do it, that arrow game, if you learn how to do it right, you can actually get a lot of rupees from playing that arrow game. So if you, in retro, or are running low on keys, that is certainly a place to go if you can get to it.
And in inverted, which we've seen in this tournament, that archery game is invaluable to get yourself started at sea.
So Hammer Pegs doesn't have anything. See what Jeremiah has for us. And now we're gonna get Magic Bat. Alright, we got a red shield from the bat. JP and some other people in chat are telling me that arrow game can actually be a take any room, and that's what Khloe was doing. So, since that was the case, You know, that was certainly what Khloe was doing, but, you know, if it ends up being the arrow game, you can still use that to get the cash.
Chloe's first look down here at the South of Grove Cave is just going to be 20 rupees. That makes sense because they didn't. They went Hype Cave straight to Swamp and then saved quit out, so they wanted to turn this all into one route, and they'll be able to check the shovel here too.
Khloe also remembering that we got that shovel. Although I didn't think Sabo had it at the moment, but Strike the Earth, Quake!
Strike the Earth seems pretty appropriate for that item if you think about it.
Actually, it does.
But yeah, we got that shovel at a Hype Cave, so Sabo might make... I think Sabo will make their way down there to get it, so... It should be an issue, but we'll...
Yeah, Sabo, meanwhile, is picking up that lamp from Bumper Cave. Lunchbox just having more bombs.
And Chloe's already checked Bombo's tablet. They did that after Swamp, so... It looks like this is going to be... Pyramid to maybe to Catfish or maybe to Pod. So we'll see where they go.
And Sabo just found another key shop at the Curiosity Shop in Dark World.
Yeah, that's the first one they found too. So that's really, really good news for them.
And with the horde of cash we've been finding in this seed, you're certainly going to see Sabo pick up as many keys as he can.
For the record, the counter for the keys does go to double digits. You will not be locked out at 9. So you can get 11, 13. You can buy to your heart's content. Well, to 99 anyway.
Sabo's done with 7 though. I'm also going to spend some money on potions, so... Usually when I see runners do this, this usually means Ice Palace is coming up. And it is Ice Palace. Khloe, meanwhile, is going for the 2 potential items in Aga, or at least the first one. Although Sabo's actually going to do the Zora checks first.
I hope Sabo save and quit, or did I? Wait, I'm thinking that here. Did Sabo save and quit before this? Because
no,
this could be a big purchase.
He's just not even going to bother with it. Oh! Kana Samoria is the Naga Tower.
It took 65 minutes. It took 65 minutes, but the way Khloe has played this retro seed has finally come through for them, because that is a massive, massive find, especially with mitts in hand with Fire Rod, that's about as good as you can do.
I will say though that Sabo, this is the last dungeon that Sabo can do, other than finish up what he didn't finish in Pod. We do have the 5-6 crystals, but we know Pyramid Fairy just has cash from the hint. So if Ice Palace... The truth of the matter is that he's blocked by the King of Samaria pretty much from being able to do Turtle Rock or even get into Mire. So even if, like, Sabo were to find, like, the Ice Rod and, like, Ether, he's still going to be blocked out from even being able to try to get into Turtle Rock.
Sabo does have a decent amount to do before they get to that point, though, because if they get desperate, they can go into Mire and hope and pray for vanilla. But you are right that they are going to get blocked soon enough. But this is a race. The question is, what will Khloe be able to do in that amount of time? Khloe able to find a key shop up at the Dark Witch, and it is going to stop at 10. I think they'll do the same as Sabo and not look at Zora, although maybe they'll swim back at least to see the ledge.
See, Khloe hasn't been to Pod yet. That 10 would be enough to do Pod and Turtle Rock, and there's an 11th. So I could possibly see Khloe spending the cash, and there's Tempered Sword and Ice Palace, but you're right. You could be better off saving it, because you still are going to need $200 for Ganon when you get to the Silver Arrow fight.
That being said, there are still a lot of chests open in the game, so it's not like we're not gonna find money. So, I mean, it'll be an interesting decision to see what they do.
Well, we'll know once Khloe gets to the Zora ledge. Sees the $20, keeps going. We're gonna get Zora, and at this point, I don't think Khloe's done a save and quit. So I think Khloe will be keeping whatever Zora has. Because as I like to say, there once was a fish named Zora who gives you flippers and vanilla. In retro, they're devils. For 500 shekels, we could get 5 keys instead of an empty bottle.
Well, if you're generous, you can say that Zora just gave Khloe a blue potion.
Possibly, if we find another Take Any room. We've really only seen one.
Oh, this is really good here. Up here at the Ice Rod Cave, there is a cave that we couldn't get to because the glove was late, and Khloe didn't do Ice Rod Cave at all. So this is 2 checks to get out of the way. Hello, Ice Rod and Ice.
So nice, it's an ice. So no Take Any room there either. Khloe is going to join Sabo and Ice Palace.
Yeah, this is really good news for Khloe because it looks like I'm trying to think of what the best, knowing what Khloe's going to get in here, what the best idea is going to be. And like, do you check Turtle Rock now, or do you go beat Pod and just essentially take the 2/3 shot that you have the Turtle Rock medallion?
I mean, I personally would do Pod first, on the chance that Canis Samaria is up there. Granted, we know it's in Aga Tower, so that's going to be to Sabo's disadvantage. But if I was in Sabo's position, I would be doing Pod first, so that if the chance that Canis Samaria is up on Death Mountain, then I don't have to climb it. I just finish Turtle Rock, and that's go mode.
Yeah, it looks like that is what Sabo's gonna do. They're gonna be the first to 6 crystals, but without that Canis Samaria, that advantage is gonna go away very, very fast. Question, chat: which chest in Aga Tower was it? It was the second one. It was in the maze in the dark.
So we won't be able to call Khloe into go mode just yet, because we're going to have to... We have not seen where the Turtle Rock medallion is, and it could still be Ether, which we have not found. And as chat is, I'm sure, anticipating, there is still that 1 in 22 chance that the Ganon's Tower Big Key is on the torch, which would then mean we need the boots.
And if there's anything we know about chat, it's that they kind of live for chaos and wild goose chases and everything. Everybody running around for everything.
All right, we have a bunch of people in chat that are still asking about retro. So since we have a moment where we're kind of doubling back over places we've already seen, retro mode takes elements of Zelda 1 and puts it into Zelda 3. Keys are universal. Any small key will work in any door of any dungeon. Big keys are still for their respective dungeons. Arrows, you no longer have arrow items. You spend money to fire arrows. 10 arrows for a wooden arrow, 10 rupees for a wooden arrow, 50 rupees for a silver arrow. There are also 4 take any rooms that have heart containers or a blue potion, you can choose, and 1 that has a sword.
Right. The key change is really the rupees for arrows is more of a nuisance than anything else. The key change is the small keys, and being able to get as many of them as you want in order to make navigating dungeons easier if you have them all.
And the thing is that because retro operates in some ways like a key sanity light, that is kind of what is making the difference in this race right now, because normally in Randomizer, you would only consider Aghanim Tower for getting to Dark World, or possibly to have the portal for Pyramid Fairy if you're missing the hammer. But because the keys are universal, there can be 2 items in the Aga Tower, and that's where the Canis Samaria is. And for those asking in chat, we have already seen the pedestal. It was just couch cash.
So, right, so Khloe has moved their way into Schrodinger's go mode? Go-ish mode?
That's what I would call it, Schrodinger's go mode. We don't know until we see Turtle Rock.
Or we can call it like VTorp's uncertainty principle, I guess.
That works. Now, Khloe still has to go to Pod. And Pod had the silver arrows were in the first chest in Pod. So it'll be interesting to see how Khloe decides to route Pod. If Khloe operates like they're in go mode, or if they're still doing checks for like ether silvers.
Well, as our tracker, Zelda the Sam brings up, the big key in the harmless hellway kind of means Khloe won't be skipping anything.
Yeah,
just because the key is at the back of the key is essentially in the back.
Yeah, that makes sense. I really hadn't put that together in my head since I heard, since I was thinking about the silver arrows. But that is going to be 5 crystals for Khloe. Sabo is at 6, but needs to go to Aga Tower for the King of Samaria. And as we were predicting, Dark Death Mountain is up next.
Right, Dark Death Mountain, too good a deal to pass up. 6 items, the Turtle Rock information, and maybe Spike Cave after this, with a cave in hand.
Sabo is going to tell us if Khloe is in go mode or not once we see the medallion on Turtle Rock. All right.
Moment of
Sabo's
truth.
Gonna open up Turtle Rock. Is Khloe Prower in go mode? Survey says, yep. That's Quake. 1 hour, 18 minutes. Khloe Prower's in go mode, and Sabo now also has to go to the dig spot as well as Aga Tower.
Oh man, things just get worse and worse. Really, for Sabo's prospects in this race. Quake was at the dig spot with the shovel from the Hype Cave. So it might have been a 2 of 10 Hype Cave to start, but it's also got the rest of the seed.
It certainly did. Khloe does get the silver arrows. And with having 11 keys is gonna not try to be frugal with those keys. Just going.
Yeah, no need to be cute here. Also, there's 270 rupees sitting on that U-shaped floor downstairs in Pod. So that'll be something Khloe will be able to take advantage of. Essentially, fill their wallet back up.
And again, because of the fact that retro means that arrows cost money, you're gonna need at least 200 rupees in order to be able to kill Ganon with the silver arrows. And I did see a race in this tournament that swung because one runner had exactly 200 and missed the shot.
That race was painful to watch. But yeah, they didn't even miss the shot. They got essentially tricked by the game. But that's a discussion for another time.
Absolutely.
That was a bad day though.
The point being, you want to make sure you have more than 200 bucks going into Ganon. Otherwise, you're going to have... sorry.
Yeah. No, sorry about that. Question in chat, can you do silverless in retro? Of course you can. you know, there's nothing. I mean, you've got the sword. Nothing's stopping you from doing silverless spins.
Right.
You know, it just you know, silvers make life easier. So yeah, they'll save time.
Yeah, it saves time. And the thing is, this is a critical race for Group F. Jet 82 is already in. There's a potential. There's like a 4-way block between Mentos Man, Sabo, Khloe, and JP. Khloe needs both of the remaining wins to get in to the bracket stage, and that would even just be for a tiebreaker between Khloe and Mentos Man. And with one final race between Sabo and JP, if there's a tiebreaker, is going to be a guaranteed 3-way tiebreaker. So for all intents and purposes, Khloe is racing for their life right now.
Yep, Khloe sits at 5 and 8. Absolutely cannot afford a loss. So Chloe's going to come down to the Hellway, get their big key, and I wouldn't mirror out. Oh, Khloe mirrored out here. Did not go for the rupees downstairs. That's an interesting call.
It'll certainly be interesting to see, because you've still got we've still got to run through the basement of Ganon's tower to find the big key. So there could be plenty of cash in there, but we had a hoard of cash at the beginning of this seed. I haven't been keeping track, but with how many rupees the runners had, I have to feel like the majority of the $300 rupee items were towards the beginning of the seed.
We were very, very stacked early, so I mean, like, it's you know, Khloe doesn't need that much. You know, technically Khloe hard stop needs 80 rupees to beat the red mimics, and can silverless the rest of the way. So as long as they can get that, they will be able to complete everything else.
Sabo having not been to Zora means he's still got near 1,000 rupees, so if he manages to make the right play here soon, go to Dig Spot for Quake, go to Aga Tower for Kena Samaria, he'll have more than enough money to be able to finish the game.
Question in chat about arrow cost. Yes, silvers cost 50 per to use. Wooden cost 10.
Well, there's another $300 at Lameless, but Khloe is most certainly not going to go for Lammo at this point. Alright, so that's 6 crystals for Khloe. You've got 7 keys, so you've got more than enough to take care of both Turtle Rock and Ganon's Tower. At this point, it's really just the money that Khloe needs to fire arrows through Ganon's Tower and Ganon. Yes, they could do silverless, but every second's gonna count.
sab0tender going to enter the Dark World out here at the Village of Outcasts. What do you think they're going to do up here? What direction do you think they're going to?
I don't think he's done Smith Chain yet.
Okay, that's good news, because if he remembers the shovel, he'll get Quake at least.
Yeah, and the conversation about the arrows is continuing in chat. The one thing we should point out is we keep focusing on the need for the 200 rupees for the 4 silver arrows for Ganon. The thing is that before you can get to the gauntlet, there are 4 red mimics you have to kill, and you have to use wooden arrows for those because we're in hard mode. So no matter what, Khloe has to get to 80 bucks before Khloe can run the gauntlet.
Right, there are no pot arrows. There are no none of those normal safeties that you can use would apply to the retro mode. Khloe's still checking chest up here at least, and gonna get a little extra stuff out of Hookshot Cave. Now up to 10 hearts, and 79 rupees, and 99 rupees.
So there's our 80 for the red mimics.
So Khloe confirms their go mode out now at 127.11, and is going to make their way into Turtle Rock. And Turtle Rock, when you have all the keys in hand, is probably is shorter than you would think, because you definitely don't have to deal with Laser Bridge, for example.
Well, one thing, it is still possible that there is that 1 in 22 chance that the boots are needed to get the GT big key on the torch. I don't think Khloe will waste their time full clearing Turtle Rock, especially when Khloe just forgets about the hint. But there is still that possibility.
Right, and Khloe did skip a decent amount of chests in the back of Pod. So we know that it's like once they got the big key, they were gone. So they're playing this pretty aggressively, and rightfully so, considering what's at stake.
Sabo is about to pick up Quake. At this point, Khloe has it. As long as we don't need the boots, Khloe is at a distinct advantage. But if we need to go find those boots, and yeah, Khloe's not even bothering with the Chain Chomp chest. Because we found the big key in the first room, right?
The compass room? Yeah, we did. Which is...
Yeah.
God Retro TR, I guess.
Apparently. The key thing right now is sab0tender still needs to go to get the Cane of Samaria at Agate Tower.
Question in chat, what is the difference in time between silvers and silverless? Under a minute. Probably, yeah, 45 to 50 seconds is about right. Probably the most famous race of the spring tournament was silver versus silverless, and I want to say it was Andy who went in with the 40-second lead, but Zero Rush had silvers, and that ended in a tie.
And Sabo's going for Meyer. That will put him behind further. Chloe's got to be careful with only half a heart left.
Ooh, that was That was dicey positioning, I think. But Khloe got past it, and please go to the door. Please go to the door. Please go to the door.
Oh! Press F to pay respects.
And Khloe didn't take any of the other doors. This is back to the start of the dungeon. That's a time loss. That is big.
So let's try this again. Dapper at 60 asking, why is Sabo going pendants? Because Canis Amaria is at Aga Tower. Sabo hasn't been there. There's more items in Mire than Aga Tower, so I have to guess that's what Sabo's doing.
Right. Mire in retro is 5 items, so that actually makes this a really logical play. We just happen to know that it's wrong.
Dragonfly 1989, if you run out of money on the Ganon fight and do Silverless strategy, do the arrows you hit lower the hits you have to do with your sword? Yes. It takes 12 Tempered Sword spins to kill Ganon Silverless in Phase 4. An arrow will take care of 3 of those hits.
Right, the damage on Ganon, it's all damage, it's all one pool. However you do it to him, you do it to him. And get him out of here and win the scene.
Alright, 5 hearts this time. Let's try this again.
That's the worst part. I think Khloe was going for the safety door in order, down to half a heart, and just didn't make it. So
well, there's going to be a heart here in this pot, so that will get Khloe to 6. So that'll be in a much more comfortable situation than they were with a half a heart. However, gotta be careful. One more hit to Trinex, that will be another death.
Easy now. Get out of the way of that thing.
There you
go.
All right. Just gotta wait for the explosions to finish. Get 10 bombs. That is crystal number 7. If you're familiar with Randomizer, you know what's next. There are 22 locations where that Ganon's Tower big key can be in the basement of Ganon's Tower. If you want to play in our guessing game, you need to guess a number between 1 and 22. You have to subscribe to one of our 6 speed gaming channels or donate 250 bits, and I suggest you get your bet in fast because we're almost at Ganon's Tower Sports Hefe. What'd you guess?
We're going to go number 9. It's not a number that gets a lot of love for some weird reason, so I'm going number 9.
Shelbyville Thrillhouse did give us a Twitch Prime sub. Thank you very much. You are now eligible for the leaderboard. Key thing we have to keep in mind, 1 in 22 chance that GT Big Key is on the torch. If that's the case, we still have to find the boots. Alright, guesses are closed. Alright, chest number 1. $5, 2. There it is!
Well. That was quick. That was quite fast, and that is great news for Khloe as they're going to make their way all the way up.
Yep. Now again, another critical part here. You're going to shoot 10 arrows, or use 10 rupees for each arrow. These red mimics take 2. You got to make sure you have 80 arrows, or 80 bucks to do this. Okay, gets the first 2 done. Oh, there we go. And those 20 rupee drops will certainly help, so Khloe Prower will be able to get to the gauntlet. And with that correct answer of 2, the first sub or supporter to correctly guess was tmi.twitch.tv, so congratulations, you've been added to our leaderboard.
And Sabo, out of options, is going to make the play. Actually, no, is an escape. So they're going to do the dark chest and find the money in here, and then I guess mirror back to the front door and head upstairs to Aga Tower.
Or not. Sabo's walking away from the Cane of Samaria.
Oh, is this a catfish check? I guess this is a catfish check. So yeah, I think the mode is I think the mode has just gotten the better of Sabo in this race.
It also is Sabo has also not. He did Waterfall of Wishing, but he didn't even go into the Zora area.
Khloe is down to 1 heart. Oh wow, yeah, Khloe is down to 1 heart here, and that's a shot from a Beamos right to the face, and back to the start of the dungeon we go.
Press F to pay respects. Time to do this again. This is where hard mode's coming into play.
Khloe's actually really fortunate to have 95 rupees to be able to do this mimics, to be able to do the red mimics again.
Oh, right.
I mean, the nerves are real here. I mean, the nerves are very real in a match like this. Here on Speed Gaming 2, with essentially a bracket spot pretty much at stake, where you have to keep winning out in order to advance. So, I mean, the nerves are very real at this point.
Khloe is running for their life right now. They have 2 more races in the group stage. They have to win both of them just to get into a tie with Mentos Man 8. Then there's 1 more race between Sabo and JP. Khloe also has to run JP, but there is 1 more race with Sabo and JP. If Khloe does get both of these races, then basically Sabo and JP are then going to have to run for their life to basically get into a 3-way tie for the 2nd spot in the brackets from Group F. And this time Khloe not taking, gonna waste half a heart to get over here and get the fairies. Again, because this is hard mode, you can't use the swag net to be able to pick them up and put them in bottles.
Khloe showing the power, he said sarcastically, of sword beams. If we wanted to bring something back from Zelda 1, we should bring back Zelda 1 sword beams, because those things can actually hurt things, unlike whatever we're firing in this game. That's a much better last room of the gauntlet here, and Khloe's going to move on to land Molus.
Electing not to use a fire rod and just going with tempered sword swings to save magic.
I think Sabo is going to beat the Armos Knights now. Yeah, they've completely forgotten that Castle Tower could be a thing. So I don't remember if Sabo was the one who did the ped check at least.
No, it was Khloe. Sabo's going for the pedestal then. This is just my preference, but if I thought something was on the pedestal, I would go check it before I go back to any pendant dungeons, because I would want the information to know, okay, if I need to do these pendant dungeons, am I doing it for the pedestal, or am I doing it just for the item checks?
And yeah, chat's bringing up that with Meyer being a pendant, that can't even be on the pedestal because we need the cane to be vitreous. So yeah, this is just for the item that's on Armos. It's I think the last check Sabo has that isn't the Castle Tower. So
yeah,
this
is. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
Pay no attention to the talking idiot.
The pair of them in this case. Khloe's up to 109 rupees now, so that's good news for them. A spin and a slash ought to take care of Moldorm 2. 2 spins for good measure. And we're going to hook shot across and hopefully find a little more money here. I was right, it was money.
Not enough to get Khloe another silver arrow, but you've got 2. So right now that would be 2 silver arrows and 6 tempered sword spins.
And Khloe was able to make it up here, well, after getting the hearts from the anti-fairies up at the top. Khloe was able to get here with 9.5 hearts. So this fight should be pretty much okay. And after that, it's just a matter of taking care of the big pig. I think that was a triple.
All right. Agatu is down for Khloe Prower. It is time for the big pig.
Pretty friendly location for Ganon here. Khloe able to get a couple of spins off. I think there is 2 cycle for phase 1. Yep, and now I'm going to start phase 2. Going to be able to bounce themselves off the wall and get double spins off the wall. So this should be a 1 cycle phase 2 as well.
And now we're on to phase 3. Alright, Sabo's heading back to Aga Tower. Or at least Hyrule Castle is this for Tower. It has to be, I would think. Alright, did we find the silver arrows in pod? Yep. I'd fire one in your face. Here we go.
That, oh boy, that actually could be bad. I don't remember what Chloe's potion situation is, but needing 2 fire rod shots to relight the torches could make this fight go a little longer than they want.
Yeah, Khloe does have a green potion, but again, hard mode will only refill half of it.
Which is essentially 4 shots.
So I know you gotta think Chloe's thinking I gotta hurry, but oh wait, Khloe doesn't have the lamp. I forgot.
I think she's 2 spins away here. No, 1 spin, and that's gonna do it. Khloe figured it out, and Khloe Prower is going to hopefully cross the bridge, win this race, and move to 6 and 8 in Group F.
And with that, Khloe Prower finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 46 minutes, and 55 seconds. Spam those GGs in chat. Yes, Seed, that just happened. And unfortunately, right as sab0tender finally corrected his mistake and got the Cane of Samaria, he has officially forfeited the race. So GG's to both sab0tender and Khloe Prower. We will see if we can get both of them in for an interview. And we are joined by Khloe Prower in chat. GG.
Hi, GG's.
How you feeling?
Oh, well, after that, I don't know, everything from like an hour on was just pure nerve-wracking, because I know this was my last race if I couldn't pull it out, but I really loved the all-around Dark World route, and then Castle Tower paid off huge.
Yeah, that certainly was a difference in the race with the Cane of Samaria being there. How are you feeling about your rupee count as you were getting into that final stretch?
I mean, oh gosh, when I found Cane, and then I was going on because I'm like, oh well, I still need to find the ice rod. I still need to find possibly a sword. I don't know. And silvers I didn't have either. So I found that one shop that was up north, and it was like this was the only key shop that was easy to refresh, because we found the one in the light world, and that one was just terrible because you had to walk all the way around and out to get keys. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna buy enough keys so that if I don't find another one, I won't care. But then I spent too much, and then I didn't have money.
Money at the end was an obvious concern. Was there a thought to go downstairs in pod when you found the big key there?
I was, to be honest, I'm like, I need to go. I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta get this done. Because I'm just like, all I'm looking for is the key. I don't care about anything else. I'll find money in Ganon's Tower. But of course, Ganon's Tower here, have the big key right in nice and early. So there's no opportunity for that either. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna have to do silverless.
Yeah, silverless with the fire rod and not getting the torch glitch. So it was I mean that, you know, being able to clutch that fight out under those circumstances was pretty cool. So good, very very good work.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, I never checked the fairies for bottles of refills either, so the fact that I got a green potion was just a godsend too. I knew where the lamp was, but I'm like, I can't go and get that. That's gonna take like 2 minutes.
it was very fascinating that this is like the first retro seed that I've called that we only found one take any room, and it was in like, wasn't it like on Death Mountain or no, it was over by Desert. Like I was
Yeah, it was over by Purple Chest Guy. Yeah, we never found the old man's sword. The key shops were in really weird spots, like so.
I know if I didn't find that one key shop at the Dark Witch's place, I would have been like, I'm gonna go to the arrow refill shop, and because that's like probably the only other. There's only like that one and one other one that I didn't check. And then
it ended up being the curiosity shop where Savo was able to stock up on keys.
Yeah, and I stopped looking for swords after a while too. Ice Palace was nice enough to give me both sword and something else. There's something else was in Ice Palace that was really important. I think the ice rod.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, it was other than I'm sorry, I'm hearing a little feedback. Other than very early on, there really wasn't a lot of like points where you were basically like secluded and it had only one option to go. It was still pretty open. Granted, the Cane of Samaria made the difference between you and Sabo, but it certainly felt like, you know, you never. I don't know about you, but watching it, I didn't feel like you guys were being like pulled around or led in a linear fashion.
No, I mean, the seed was pretty open. Just a couple things bouncing around, and then we found Dark World access after we went up to the mountain, so... And then Moon Pearl on Mushroom. So, I mean, by the time we had Dark World, most of the Light World checks were done at that point anyways.
Yep, and we have been joined by sab0tender in chat. GG's.
Hey. GG, Khloe.
GG's. Thank you for letting me win one.
How you feeling, Sabo? You have enough time to decompress?
You know, I don't even think with the delay it's been enough time. This one really hurt. Like, it felt like everything was going all right, and then it went completely off the rails because I don't know how to...
Yeah, unfortunately that Cane of Samaria was kind of the big thing that kind of swung the race.
Yeah, and of course it had to be in, you know, a spot that, you know, isn't too common for, you know, normal races. Like, it, you know, I was just hoping that I would come across it in one of the usual locations. Like, I think when I went up to Turtle Rock the first time, I actually didn't have the Quake Medallion either, but I figured you know, up there at Hookshot Cave or Super Bunny, it would just be kind of be kicking around there, and nope, it was of course in that Castle Tower.
I'm gonna feign ignorance here because I honestly don't get to watch as much of the tournament as I would like to, but it seems like from watching both of you, Sabo, that you weren't really focusing on any of the retro specific stuff. Like, we saw Khloe going through a lot of doors to try to find the take any rooms or the shops, whereas you kind of were just going on as if it was a non-retro seed.
That's probably a fair point because I hate this mode. So yeah, I mean, I actually haven't even taken the time to learn all of the intricacies of it. Like, you were talking about the old man in the cave. I don't know that's a thing. Like, I mean, I don't even race things, so I don't think to stop in some of the, you know, lesser known spots in the world to try and find that location. So yeah, I just wasn't prepared for this.
As a side note, when I raced a retro against JP, someone else in our bracket, I think he last locationed Aga Tower 2, which cost him that race as well. So retro is just not something people really know.
Yeah, it has its own tricks, and it has its own little little oddities that you have to navigate. At least you guys were pretty flush with cash early, so really the biggest issue, keys and money, didn't really seem to affect either of you. Although, Sabo, your pod didn't seem to go quite right.
Oh man, that was my one early dumb in the game, and I kind of thought that was going to put me behind. That wasn't the thing that ended up costing me anything, but yeah, I kind of gambled on where the big key might be, and of course it was in the harmless hellway there, and I ran out of keys, so that.
All right, so this bracket is going to be very fascinating. Unfortunately, Sabo, because of your loss here, you now cannot outright win the second spot into the brackets from your group. For those that don't know, there are 2 races left in Group F. JP and Khloe have a race, and JP and Sabo have a race. If JP sweeps his races, then he would win the second slot outright. If not, there is a potential for a 3-way tie. Mentos Man 8 is done at 7. So basically for both Khloe and Sabo, you both race JP next, and you're basically both running for your lives again.
Yep, that's pretty much it. I have shot myself in the foot in back-to-back races, so definitely have to come out strong in that race against JP to have a shot at a.
Are there settings set up for you and JP yet, Sabo?
No, not yet. We're trying to figure out when we're going to schedule the match, so we haven't even rolled the.
What about you, Khloe? Is your match with JP ready to go yet?
We were kind of actually waiting after this match to see what would go on, just because now JP's kind of the wild card, because he can either take the bracket spot outright or he can leave it to the other 3 to race off. So it's so close and it's so nerve-wracking. Like, every race from now on is just super important.
Yeah, total nail biters for the last 2 races in this group for sure.
Sabo, if you don't mind me asking, since we have the privilege of having one of the tournament admins in this channel right now, if it does come down to a 3-way tie, would all 3 of you race at once, or would it be separate races?
Okay, I'm on the spot now. Let's see. I actually haven't looked into this in the last little while, so I don't want to say anything that would be incorrect information. It will be some kind of interesting tiebreaker scenario regardless. So unfortunately, I don't have the answer.
I won a 3-way with JP and Jet commentating, or Mentos, whoever wants to do it. If JP's running.
Whoever is not in the tiebreaker should be the commentary team for it. It would be really hype.
I would totally be down for that.
Yeah, although some of it might be Jet just saying, "Yeah, I blew all these guys away. No, don't worry about any of them." Nah, he wouldn't do that though. Nah, he's a good.
So I did find the tournament document, and it does say that if the groups result in a tie, then the tiebreaker race is between all tied players. So it would be a 3-way race between all 3 tied runners. It would be decided randomly, and each player would have a veto based from highest to lowest seed.
So if there was a 5-way tie, could we just veto everything?
Yeah.
Right. Yes, we have a beat Ganon seed, and that's about it.
All right, so any final thoughts from Khloe and Sabo before we wrap up shop here?
I just want to give you guys a shout out for taking care of commentary, Jex and Sports Hefe. Thanks a lot, guys. Much appreciated. And Zelda-san doing tracker duty. Thanks a lot, man. I'll be commentating your race a little later this evening, so that's mad hype. And GG's to Khloe. A lot of pressure in this race, and needs to win out and delivers. So that's awesome that you're staying alive here.
Yeah, really, same as Sabo. Thanks to all the volunteers and everything that's been doing everything for this. From what I know, we've had restreams for more than half of the races in the group stage. That's just ridiculous because there's something like 270 or something races that we're supposed to go on.
720 between so it's the fact that we've been able to get this many out is just wow.
And again, thanks, Sabo, for making my heart pound, and this race is just so fun, so...
Alright, well, Sports Hefe, I think this was the first time we were in the commentary booth together, so I certainly had the pleasure. It was a blast, and as Sabo said, props and well done, Zelda-san, our tracker.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, this was a good time. This was a really good time. Glad to share it with you. Thanks, obviously, to Zelda for tracking. Follow JexRefi at twitch.tv/JexRefi. Zelda-san will be racing later today. Follow him at twitch.tv/Zelda-san. As far as what's coming up on Speed Gaming, we have a double header on Speed Gaming 4 with Makenex and Jay Meisher, with doing a pair of races for their group. That starts at 4:30 Eastern Time. At 6 o'clock Eastern on Speed Gaming 5 GFE Bonta. And we'll put the schedule link in chat to see the rest of the evening's races.
Absolutely. And since we mentioned our tracker, Zelda-san, his race at 8:30 Eastern will be on the ALTTP Randomizer channel with Philion, and will be another retro seed. So, yeah, once again, thank you to the Speed Gaming staff. Thank you to all the volunteers behind the scenes that make this tournament possible. We couldn't do any of this entertainment without all of you. So, GG's to Khloe and Sabo. For Zelda-san, for Sports Hefe, I'm JexRefi. We'll see you next mission.